I am a real American. Fight for the rights of every man. All right, just had to do that real quick. Hulk Hogan changed wrestling forever. I gotta agree with my own statement. Hulk Hogan, it's sad, that he passed away, and it's kind of sad now that there's kind of skepticism about the way he died. His daughter doesn't think he had leukemia. He did, die of a heart attack, and it's kind of looking suspect. And people are really waiting for the toxicology to come back because don't know what really could have happened. But anyway, I don't like all these people coming out saying things about Hulk Hogan, Hollywood Hogan. I just don't like it because it's like what he was later in his career from statements he made. Like, why do you got to knock him? Like, I hope when I'm dead and gone, people are talking about my praises. They're not talking about the hardships I went through. But just as a kid, Hulkamania was just something that brought me in as a kid. When you're a kid, you just get glued to things that you're interested in, and kids my age, were completely in it. I had a million friends, that came to school, were all talking about wrestling and everything. I used to have a Hulk Hogan, Hulkamania, like lunchbox, toy chest, everything like that. And he really, kind of took over, and he's what gave me the interest in the WWF, WWE, and yeah, it's just sad to see he's gone. But Hulkamania, that was huge. And then you got to give Hulk Hogan credit that the second half of his career that he didn't even think was really going to happen, he ended up forming the NWO with Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, formerly Diesel, formerly Razor Ramon, and kind of ignited the Monday Night Wars with the WWF that was led by Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock. So he really had a good second half of the career, and you can't tell me you didn't go to school and weren't doing the NWO with your friends or doing the NWO too sweet. So I was doing that shit in my mirror right before Nitro would come on. So he had me hooked, and just the crossover things where he got Karl Malone in the business, Dennis Rodman in the business, Jay Leno. He's really responsible for a lot of the success of the business, the wrestling business, sports entertainment, and even calling out people in office and stuff when stuff in the company was going wrong, they were making bad decisions, calling them out on live TV. So, he ended up, phasing out with WCW, going to like TNA. You know, I mean, after WCW went back to WWE, formed the NWO again for what was short lived. That gave way to his match with The Rock at WrestleMania, and he really just had an incredible career. All the wrestlers now, some of them might take it for granted. There's a whole bunch of stars now, but there was only a few stars during my childhood, and the one that reigned supreme above everybody was Hulk Hogan. If there was one that you wanted to love or hate, it was Hulk Hogan. And he really cared and gave his life for the business because he had like 20 neck and back surgeries after that. So he really drug his body into the ground and gave his life basically to the business. That's the way I look at it. And while he did have some negative things that came up later in his life, I think that's very much outweighed by the positive. And at the end of the day, we're all men, and we do good and we do bad, and hopefully the the good outweighs the bad in the end. But I just want to say thanks for the memories, Hulk, and RIP Hulk Hogan.